What if the desire you try hardest to hide is actually the clearest message your soul is sending you? Carl Jung believed that sexual desire is never just about pleasure or attraction. It is a psychological symbol, a force rising from the unconscious to reveal who you truly are beneath masks, morals, and social roles. The people you crave, the fantasies that repeat in your mind, the intensity that pulls you toward certain energies and not others, none of it is accidental. According to Jung, your desire exposes your shadow, your unmet potential, your deepest wounds, and even your untapped power. Ignore it, and it controls you from the dark. Understand it, and it becomes a map to self-mastery. In this video, you'll discover what your sexual desire says about your personality, your fears, your emotional hunger, and the hidden self you've never fully faced. Stay with me until the end, because once you see desire through Jung's eyes, you will never look at yourself, or attraction, the same way again. Carl Jung viewed sexual desire not as a simple biological urge or moral weakness, but as one of the most honest languages of the unconscious, a psychological force that reveals the structure of the soul more clearly than logic ever could. Because desire bypasses the ego and speaks directly from the deepest layers of the psyche, where instincts, memories, archetypes, and unresolved conflicts live. According to Jung, everything that repeatedly attracts you carries symbolic meaning, and sexual desire is especially powerful because it is charged with life energy, what he called libido, which is not limited to sex, but represents the raw psychic energy that drives growth, creativity, ambition, attachment, and transformation. When this energy concentrates itself on a specific type of person, body, dynamic, or emotional tone, it is revealing something essential about what your conscious personality lacks, suppresses, or longs to integrate. This is where Jung's concept of the shadow becomes central. The shadow is the part of you that you have rejected, denied, or been taught to hide in order to be accepted by society, family, or culture. Sexual desire often points directly toward the shadow, because we are instinctively drawn to what we do not consciously allow ourselves to be. If you are controlled, disciplined, and emotionally restrained, you may desire someone wild, dominant, or emotionally intense. If you present yourself as strong and independent, you may crave vulnerability, surrender, or being emotionally seen. Desire, in this sense, is not random attraction but compensation, the psyche's attempt to restore balance by pulling you toward the qualities missing in your conscious identity. Jung believed that the unconscious is always seeking wholeness, and desire is one of its most effective tools. This is why people are often confused or even ashamed by what they desire, because it contradicts their self-image. The more someone insists, "This is not who I am," the more powerfully the unconscious may express itself through desire. Jung warned that repressing sexual desire does not make it disappear, it only forces it into distorted forms. Repression creates obsession, secrecy, guilt, projection, and compulsive behavior. Because what is denied expression does not lose energy, it gains it. When desire is pushed into the shadow, it begins to control behavior unconsciously, influencing choices, relationships, and emotional reactions without awareness. This is why Jung emphasized understanding desire rather than judging it. To understand desire is not to blindly act on it, but to decode its message. One of Jung's most important ideas related to sexual desire is the anima and animus, the inner feminine in men and the inner masculine in women. According to Jung, we are not psychologically complete beings. Each person carries an unconscious image of the opposite psychological principle within them. Sexual attraction often occurs when someone externally embodies your anima or animus. You are not only attracted to them as a person, but to what they awaken inside you. This explains why desire can feel irrational, overwhelming, or almost fated. You are not simply drawn to a body, you are drawn to an inner image that has been waiting to be activated. When a man desires a woman who feels mysterious, emotionally deep, or spiritually charged, he may be encountering his anima, calling him toward emotional depth and inner sensitivity he has not yet developed. When a woman desires a man who feels grounded, assertive, or purposeful, she may be encountering her animus, pushing her toward confidence, direction, and inner authority. Problems arise when people mistake this projection for completion. Jung warned that when we believe another person will complete us, we become psychologically dependent, and desire turns into obsession, jealousy, or fear of loss. The real task is to withdraw the projection and integrate the qualities internally. Sexual desire, then, becomes a teacher rather than a master. Another crucial aspect of Jung's view is that desire reveals emotional wounds. Repeated attraction patterns often point to unresolved childhood experiences, unmet needs, or early relational dynamics. If someone repeatedly desires emotionally unavailable partners, it may reflect an unconscious attempt to master early abandonment. If someone is drawn to controlling or dominant figures, it may mirror unresolved authority dynamics from the past. Jung believed the psyche repeats patterns until their meaning is consciously understood. Desire is one of the ways these patterns surface. This does not mean desire is pathological, but that it carries history. The body remembers what the mind forgets. Sexual desire can also reveal power dynamics within the psyche. Some desires are rooted in a longing to feel alive, chosen, validated, or powerful. Others stem from a desire to surrender control, to escape responsibility, or to feel protected. Jung did not moralize these impulses. Instead, he saw them as symbolic expressions of psychological imbalance or growth potential. Even fantasies, according to Jungian thought, are symbolic narratives through which the unconscious communicates. They should not be taken literally, but psychologically. A fantasy about dominance, submission, or intensity is rarely about the act itself. It is about energy, boundaries, agency, or emotional truth. Jung also warned about the danger of identifying too strongly with desire. When libido is not consciously directed toward meaningful life goals, it can regress, becoming fixated on pleasure as an escape from inner emptiness. In such cases, desire loses its transformative potential and becomes compulsive. But when understood and integrated, sexual desire becomes fuel for creativity, purpose, and individuation, the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are. Individuation requires confronting the shadow, integrating the anima or animus, and aligning conscious life with unconscious truth. Desire plays a central role in this process because it exposes contradictions between who you think you are and who you actually are. Jung believed that modern society often disconnects people from this inner dialogue by reducing sexuality to either indulgence or shame. Both extremes prevent understanding. The Jungian path is different. Observe desire, reflect on it, ask what it wants to teach you about your unmet needs, your hidden strengths, your denied emotions, and your potential for growth. When you do this, desire no longer controls you from the shadows. It becomes a guide. You stop chasing people to fill inner voids and start using desire as information. You become less reactive, less desperate, and more grounded in your identity. Jung believed that true psychological maturity is not the absence of desire, but the ability to hold it consciously, without repression and without compulsion. In this state, sexual desire aligns with authenticity rather than addiction. It reflects who you are becoming, not what you are escaping. Ultimately, your sexual desire reveals who you truly are because it points to what your soul is reaching for: integration, balance, vitality, and wholeness. When you learn to listen to it symbolically rather than impulsively, you unlock one of the deepest forms of self-knowledge available to the human mind. In the end, your sexual desire is not something to fear, suppress, or blindly obey. It is a message. As Carl Jung taught, it is the unconscious speaking in symbols, pointing you toward the parts of yourself that want to be seen, healed, and integrated. When you stop judging your desire and start understanding it, you reclaim your power, your clarity, and your authenticity. If this perspective changed the way you see yourself, your attraction, or your inner world, make sure to subscribe to the channel for deeper psychological insights inspired by Carl Jung. New videos here are not about surface motivation, but about real inner transformation.